Are we going for a dry thing, a sandy thing, a wet thing, a muddy thing, a cavernous thing? You know, a clinical thing, a roomy thing, a vintage, modern, futuristic? Stuck with the Bun. Hello, I'm the Bun. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're well. This here is Stuck with the Bun. This is a show all about things that you're stuck on, things that I'm stuck on, things that have been stuck on, and hopefully we will get unstuck. Today is all about recording and production, stage 2 from the Solo Metal production overview, you know, the 4 steps series. The link to the whole series and playlist is down below in the description. Probably want to start at the beginning, but maybe you want to go backwards. Doesn't really matter to me. You should just know about it. To recap from the overview, recording and production, it can come from your writing session or it can be a brand new session. It's up to you. Some of the things we might be going for in the recording and production phase is really good takes and feel, focused on the quality and strategic performances for an optimum arrangement. You know, the right feel, sick tones, all that cool stuff. The big disclaimer is, I didn't come up with this stuff. This is stuff that is really common in terms of professional studio processes. I used to work in big studios on bigger productions. I'm just taking what I learned from those experiences and bringing them over here. What are the beneficial sort of steps and thinking and philosophies that drive those processes, and how do they benefit us? Just want to take a second to thank everybody with me over at Patreon and YouTube memberships. These are the people who brought you this episode. If you'd like to explore what that's all about, the links are down below in the description. Huge thanks to everyone who has ever helped out ever. Recording and production, what are they exactly? Recording in this regard would be the capture of audio onto an archivable medium to a specific technical standard. And of course, recording multiple items on the same timeline so that they interrelate. Production is applied to the audio and applied to the overall project. Production is the treatment and design of audio specific to an artistic vision or an art direction. So what's involved with the recording portion of recording and production? Very first thing is we want to capture the audio with the artistic treatment from the production to the highest fidelity and technical standard. Capturing the audio with consideration for the mix and the master. How is this going to be mixed? How many tracks are we recording? What is the whole art direction? As the recordist, I want to get inside of that and record things as best as possible. Thinking about lo-fi material, it's a great example because a lot of lo-fi records are actually recorded pretty well. So even if the angle is this lo-fi kind of vibe, we still want to record the audio so that it has body and is shapeable. Even if it's a lo-fi source, we still want to capture it in a hi-fi way so that we can work with it after the fact. Capturing specific sounds to specific tracks with performance and mix in mind. A great example of this is every time that you change sounds as a guitar player, each sound will be captured on a separate track as a separate performance. What are some of the things that are involved in production? What makes production what it is? The producer is typically responsible for the technical production standards, as well as finding the best way to realize the artistic vision. I have a sort of checklist for these sorts of things. I call it OATS, you know, orchestration, arrangement, tone, tuning, tightness, taste, and texture. So with orchestration, are all the instruments always playing all together, or are they broken up? How do the instruments and the orchestration of those instruments support the vibes and the sort of technical delivery of that music? Arrangement, we want to make sure that the arrangement is in line with the art direction. Do the parts serve their function? Are there hooks in this music or no hooks in this music? How do parts flow from one to the next? Tuning, this is typically the technical function of a producer as well, to make sure that everything is in tune. If we have to tune to position to get the optimum, of course you could go the opposite way. It's like this needs to be sounding like it's always falling apart. So maybe it's intentionally kind of out of tune. It's maybe, I don't know, tightness, playing as tight as the art direction requires. So maybe it needs to be sloppy, but sloppy in a specific way. Maybe it needs to be really tight, machine tight. So taste, I'm not exactly sure how to communicate this any better way. Is it a bass heavy performance like sludge or doom? Is it a mid heavy thing like thrash or gent or whatever? Or is it maybe a treble heavy thing like black metal? Maybe also like messy and tidy, messy versus tidy or somewhere in between, slippery and bendy. You know, these are all kind of taste-oriented things, but it's sort of the production mind that keeps an eye on it and manages it. And then texture, you know, are we going for a dry thing, a sandy thing, a wet thing, a muddy thing, a cavernous thing, you know, a clinical thing, a roomy thing, a vintage, modern, futuristic? We're gonna apply texture to kind of give it an era or a sense of environment or a feeling. I hope you understand the difference between the recording job and the production job. Seeing as we're the only person sitting at the computer doing all of it, if you break it down this way, then you can have a really specific direction. You can shoot for very specific things and maybe do a better job. Thanks again to everybody with me over at Patreon and YouTube memberships. They're the people who brought you this episode. So huge thanks to them. If you'd like to get involved and explore the perks and community that come with those kinds of memberships, the links are down below in the description. If you're interested in the Bun catalog of music, merch, and presets, those links are also down below. Huge thanks to anybody who has ever helped out in any kind of way. Hope there was some nuggets in there, that it gives you a clearer idea of what the recording and process can involve. And what does your process look like? That's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one.